This is the Fabarm ELOS N2 RS Sporting. Today, we're going to review it. As the name suggests, it is a clay gun, the N2 RS Sporting. It's available in 12 gauge only in this standard man's spec. Adjustable cone, normal wood, and you know, pretty much everything you'd want on a sporting clay gun for 1850 is, well, it's quite tempting. So we're here today to give it a good test. We're also here today to tell you that this gun is the first of 5 gun giveaways that are going to be happening at the British Shooting Show. But before we tell you that, let's see if it's any good. Woo, baby, I tell you what, straight in the first stand with a gun definitely makes you feel better, doesn't it? This gun is exactly what it should be at the price point, the way that it moves. It handles averagely, and averagely is good. And I say averagely as in averagely good, not averagely bad. That probably came across wrong, but it does what you tell it. You can move it with variety. I shot that pair both way around. That was good. I probably should have spent the time to adjust the micrometric 3D adjustable cone, but we're running out of light, and I thought, hey, it's close enough, I can make myself fit it. From a shootability standpoint alone, I am impressed. We'll look at the features and the tech and, well, some of the aesthetics, as well as comparing it to a Siren edition, which you could either win one of these or a Siren at the British Shooting Show. How they compare later, but for now, the way that works, the way that opens and closes, it's a very tactile gun. I quite like this. Let's go shoot another stand. I've moved on to 21 gram complex. It's the end of a long day of filming. As you'd expect, the recoil is pretty much zero through this gun with a 3/4 ounce load. But the way that it broke those targets was impressive, and that's mostly because I put the 7 and the 9 in there, so I believe that is improved, modified, and full. Quite a tasty, a lot of choke, but those brakes? Nobody could argue with those brakes. Two things stand out to me that were a bit of a surprise. Firstly, the build quality is there. This is a really nicely put together gun. The way that it operates, the trigger pulls, the way it opens and closes is certainly not bad for the money. And often with these high spec, average price guns, there's concessions. And with this one, I can't really find them. And secondly, this cone, which I guess I was skeptical of, that smooth feel on the face, it's nice. I'm not saying it's like a huge advantage, but it definitely is nice to have a silky smooth touch on the face. I like it. All right, onwards and upwards. I was saying that earlier about the quality. These guys offer a 10-year mechanical warranty on this, so inherently you'd want it to be good. And we've had a look over the features, and I think it does actually offer a lot of features and a lot of quality for the money. You know, it's not wonderfully engraved and it's not got grade 10 wood or anything, but taking it out and shooting it just now, it offers you everything you need. A gun that is just shootable. On these last few stands, you'll notice the recoil went up a little bit. I chucked some Sovereign parkour in there, some pretty hard hitting 6.5 ounce loads to see, well, what it's made of, because 21 grams isn't going to tell me whether this gun is a recoiling, hideous beast. And I'll tell you what, really not that bad at all. For a gun at the price point, those tri-bore barrels really do the number. Firstly, in throwing some decent patterns down range. Yeah, we've got 3/4 and full choke in, so we're expecting that. More importantly, for a gun that doesn't fit that well, super instinctive. I was bashing a few clays off the arm and shooting a few tasty pairs, and the gun performed flawlessly throughout. Which is what you want for this price, right? You don't want a gun that's going to fight you. This is a absolutely ideal first gun. You could learn your trade and learn what you like without having a gun that's super fussy. And there are some guns out there at this price point that are fussy. This is not. It's well put together. It shoots averagely. And I said that earlier, but now you know what I mean. An average shooting gun, meaning it's not ridiculous, it's not hard to shoot, it just does what a gun's supposed to do. Blows up targets, however you want to get the gun there, it's going to go there with average ease. You're never going to be fighting this gun, and that there's a lot to be said for that. There is a lot to be said for that, however silly that sounds. Overall, I rate it. As I've said, to enter to win this, all you need to do is go to the British Shooting Show. We will see you there. There will be a registration thing near the entrance, an iPad, more than likely, where you sign in your details and be entered with a chance to win one of these. You know what? I can think of worse guns to own in the cabinet. So let's have a look over the ELOS N2 RS Sporting. Starting at the back, you have a lightweight foam pad. It's quite nice, it's quite soft. I think given the balance of this gun being a little bit further forward, you could have actually had a heavier pad, but to be honest, I don't dislike it. It soaks up recoil well. You have a nice grade wood, maybe what's that, a grade 2, something like that, with laser checkering and this black inlet comb piece. The action itself is quite plain. It's a black action with minimal engraving. You have textured engraving on the beveled parts and the top lever and the trigger plate. Although the engraving on this flat black receiver is minimal, it does stand out nicely. ELOS N2 RS in blue with the blue hinge pin and sporting, with forged nickel chrome molybdenum steel overpressured 1630 bar proof tested. And that's referring to the barrels, which we'll get onto you in a minute. I quite like the action design. It has its own character, which is nice. Often on a gun like this that has a lot of spec for the price, they reduce the amount of engineering and machining they have to do, but on this one they've kept it quite nice. There's nice cuts, there's sort of some sculpting and styling to this action to keep it looking like it's actually got a bit of personality, got something about it. Just because you're spending this much money doesn't mean you shouldn't have a gun with a bit of style and panache, and this gun does have it. I like the angle on the fore end. I like everything about this gun's looks, actually. These harsh cuts at the back of the wood flats there. It's nice, it's well scalloped, and the pistol grip with the palm swell is nice. It's actually a great design. My hands are average, and it works well, you know. You could pick holes in every pistol grip. Thing about pistol grips and stock design is that you're trying to make it suitable for the most people possible, and often that's going to be hard. You can't be too picky. I think they've hit the nail on the head with a stock that feels great and most people will appreciate. It's got a rounded fore end with a release catch in the front. You pull that down and that pops off like this. And if we take the barrels off, you can see it has a sprung ejector system in there. Pretty standard ejection system, and from what we found on the ground, very reliable. The exciting thing about these barrels is that they are tri-bore. They are over pressure tested to 1630 bar, up to full choke steel proof. That's pretty impressive. Whether you want to shoot steel through them with a full choke is entirely down to you, but being able to not worry if you've put heavy chokes in there is good. And as times change, as we've found recently, and clay shooting becomes a steel shot sport, perhaps a full choke with some steel shot might not be a bad thing. We'll find out, right? It's going to be a interesting few years for guns and shooters, generally speaking. It's got 2 chokes in there, 2 chokes in the case, and you can obviously order a lot more. These are hyperbolic Exis HP chokes, and from what I found on the ground, they seem to pattern pretty well. You've got vented mid and top ribs. The top rib comes with a mid bead, and he's 8 to 10 mil tapered. The gun hinges off 2 trunnions and is locked up with a big locking bottom bite. The bottom of the ejectors is tapered to help them go in, the bottom of the action is chamfered on the edges, and that all just goes, or aids, the feel of this gun. And it feels nice. The way that it opens and closes is good. It's tactile. You can tell that it's put together properly, which is nice. Next to it is the ELOS N2 Sporting Siren. This is quite a different beast. This has a few different features, namely that it has the tri-wood stock. This isn't a lacquer film placed over the gun, but instead there's ink laid on the stock and then it's got a lacquer film over the top. It's designed to enhance the natural grain, so you can still see the natural grain through the back, but just to, I don't know, add a bit of something different. I guess this gun is £2,000. To get grade 5 wood, you're not going to do that for £2,000 with the level of engineering and quality of build you've got here. When you'll either like that or you don't. it's not generally my preference. I like the fact that this N2 Sporting has natural walnut, and yeah, it's not grade 5, but it's good enough grade, and, well, when you're shooting it, you're not looking at it. It's pretty enough that you can be proud of owning the gun, and that's usually enough. You've got a purple N and the Sporting and the Siren spec stock, and what they've done here is redesign their stock to be as appropriate, a little bit like the male stock is designed to be as appropriate for many men as possible, to make the stock as appropriate for many women as possible. And I think they've done a great job. They've shortened the radius of the grip, meaning it's shorter to the trigger. They've cut out the back of the thumb here, meaning that you're not sort of having to grab something too big. You can really get into it. And I mean, I've got average sized man's hands, they're way too big for this, but this is designed to be a lady's stock. And I know a few women who actually run and shoot these, and they're very happy with it, as they should be. You'll also notice that you have a Schnabel forend versus the rounded, and this is a 28-inch barrel only, whereas the male version, or the standard RS, is 30-inch barrels only.
That information is out of date. 30 and 32-inch are now available in the men's edition, and the Siren comes in 28 and 30.
Both guns come non-auto safe, but you can have one of those fitted if you desire. Given that they are designed as clay guns, there's no need to have a auto safe for sporting clays, but if you wanted to use it in game shooting as well, I can't see a reason why you wouldn't go for the automatic safety if that was your thing. You know, I didn't know what to expect taking this out today, but I am impressed. This is actually a really nice piece of gun making. Both of these guns are proper shootable and well put together with enough spec to make most people happy. And you could win either this or the Siren at the British Shooting Show. What's not to love?
Thank you for watching TGS Outdoors. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, like it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. This channel would not exist without the support of our amazing sponsors. They really do keep this content coming week after week. Thank you also to our channel members. You guys are amazing. If you want to know more about channel membership, there's a join button down there. Click it, you get some free extra content, you get early releases, occasionally we get together and shoot some clays. Take care guys, we'll catch you soon.